Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I promised I'd show you in a little more detail the 4 reds, limited edition reds that is, that are currently available at Chanel. First of all, there is the Christmas edition, which is Phoenix. I would describe this as a bright tomato red, and that's their one exclusive holiday colour this year. But they're also re-promoting a version of 3 classics from the 80s and 90s, and those are Rouge Number 19, Rouge Flamboyant, and I'm going to put that next to Phoenix because interestingly I think they're very, very close indeed. And then finally, Lac Rouge as part of the re-promotes. So now Chanel are famous for their reds, but even so, that seems to be a kind of red overkill at the moment. Red isn't my absolute favourite nail polish colour. I really like the darker, vampy colours, but I do love a classic red as well. And I am liking the look at the moment of bold red lips and red nails. So you're definitely getting a good choice here. But I suppose the question is, why buy one or all of these Chanel reds, famous though Chanel is for their red nail polishes? So if you're only going to have one, what should you have? How do they compare with previous red releases? Well, I'm here to tell you I've got literally dozens of Chanel reds, and it is astonishing how, even though they appear to be the same shade, when you put them together, there are subtle differences between them all. However, I have to say that these two, that is Phoenix and Rouge Flamboyant, are very, very close in tone and shade. As you can see, the Phoenix is just a touch lighter than Rouge Flamboyant, and I could have added into the mix Tapage from last year, which again is a very tomato red, a straight cream with no particular micro shimmer or luster. They're good polishes, they're beautiful reds, but they're very, very similar. And I've swatched them here. You've got Phoenix and then Rouge Flamboyant. And again, you can see how similar they are to each other. I thought that Fire, which is an old one I've got over here, would be very similar as well, because looking at them in the bottle, they looked very similar to me. But you can see there, this is Fire with just one coat. This is a much older polish, and the formulation is much thinner, so it goes on a much bluer, slightly more translucent red, although it probably would colour up very similar with 2 coats. So if you've got Fire, I'm not sure that it's that similar or as good a formulation. Now I have to say I haven't worn Rouge Flamboyant on my nails yet, but I have worn Phoenix a couple of times because I got it a few weeks ago, and it's a good formulation. It lasts a good 4 to 5 days on me before it has to come off. So if you're in for a tomato red, I would, I think, recommend Phoenix. Now, my favourite of these colours so far is the one that I'm wearing here, and that's this one, the Rouge Number 19, which is a blue-toned pinky red, but it's not really even a micro shimmer, it's a beautiful luster in the bottle, which I hope you can see, kind of bluey pink luster, which translates to an incredible shine on the nails. And yeah, I really like that. I compared it to Temptation, which is a pinkier more of a pink than a red, to be honest, but the same luster in the bottle. And you can see the two of them next to each other there. So this one here is Temptation, and it definitely is pinkier than Rouge number 19. Also, again, a much thinner formulation, so you definitely need 2 or 3 coats to build up the same effect. And I think they are different. I also compared it to Rouge Karat, which is a much yellower red, but again has that clear shimmer. And there it is. You can see, again, much yellower than this is Rouge Karat and this is number 19. But both very pretty shades. I think you could justify getting both. And then a different finish altogether and a slightly different tone, but I included it April, which is one of my all-time favourite creams from Chanel, which there's almost the same sort of tone of bluiness in the red, which I think is very flattering to fair skins. And sorry about that, just knocked something over. But definitely nowhere near a dupe. And then finally, Lac Rouge, a really true mid-toned red, which I've swatched there. You can see that's a really typical, beautiful, grown-up, I would say, red from Chanel. And surprisingly, I didn't have anything that really swatched very similarly. Here I picked out Pirate, which is a very classic red, has been released quite a few times. And you can see they look to me pretty similar in the bottle. But again, I mean, this is an older bottle that I've got of Pirate. And when I swatched it one coat, it was much thinner. Again, it would probably build up better. So looked much pinkier on the nail wheel than Lac Rouge. And I think what I take from all this is that the formulations, not surprisingly, of Chanel have improved immeasurably in the last 3 to 5 years, I would say. It's not simply a question of the lacquers aging in the bottle, because they do last a long time, but I think Chanel's formulations have, like all nail polishes, improved considerably. So they are, to my way of thinking now, the best formulations for applying at home, because you don't need particular skill, and although you should generally wear 2 coats with a base coat and a top coat, with most of the modern Chanel formulations, to be honest, you can achieve opacity in 1 coat. They're that good, and that means they dry quicker. And you know, if you're not expecting your manicure to last ages but want to change every few days, they're fantastic for doing a quick, chic manicure, and part of the reason that I love Chanel so much. So I hope that's helpful. There's a lot of reds out there this season, this year. They look really chic, but to my way of thinking, if you want the whole beautiful bottle experience and the really sophisticated Chanel red, there's nothing to beat getting one of these formulations, or maybe even all of them. So good luck with your Chanel buying. Bye for now.